Welcome back to Minecraft, and Mallinka, you're with me again. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so I promised extra bees, so extra bees it is. And these 5 machines that I showed at the end of last episodes, let's explain what they are. So, starting from the left and going all the way to the right, we have the gene pool. The gene pool is a machine that if you place a bee in it, it grinds the bee up and turns it into DNA. That DNA will be stored in this back tank over here. So that's the first step, is to grind up bees into DNA. Hello.
Oh, sorry. I was crafting something at the same time.
It's fine.
I just realized we needed more conduits.
No we don't. Actually, I'm being clever. It's all set up. It's underneath. Right, next setup is the isolator. The isolator is you put in a bee, and it isolates its genes, so and turns it into some kind of serum. I should probably craft some serums. I'll do that right now, actually, because I can imagine serum.
So basically, you rip them apart for their pieces, making blueprints.
For the DNA side of things. Yeah, I'll explain in a second. So
You monster.
So here's an empty serum. Here we go. There's no power in this, but what actually an empty serum would go in here, and when you put a bee in, one of the a random property of that bee will be turned into a serum. So let's say, for instance, let's go through one of these bees I've got in here. Let's take my resilient princess and stick it in my analyzer. Right. So one of the aspects of it is its species. So it could give us a serum saying resilient serum, or it could be the short lifespan, or its slowest working speed, or its pollination, or what flowers it needs, as in rocks, its fertility. I don't think the area of effect is one of those, but I could be wrong. Its effect is one of the things that you could get out of it. In here you've got its climate and tolerances, and humidity and humidity tolerance. They're things that could be taken out. Whether it's diurnal, as in whether it works day and night. Whether it's nocturnal, nocturnal means if it only works in the night, I believe. Then there's flyer, which is does it work in the rain, and there's cave, does it work underground? Yeah. So those are things that can be stripped out of a bee, and I'm crossbreeding here, so I'm just going to dump that back in. It doesn't matter to me that much. Anyway, okay. So that will get turned and pumped into one of these serums at random, and you can keep throwing bees at it and steal all their traits. Next, you take the serum of that trait, and with DNA inserting into it, you give it what you call charges. And the charges are what you can use to inject into another bee. So using a synthesizer, you inject extra charges into the serum. Once I've got this set up, I'll show you in actual action, but I'm just explaining it for now. Next step.
Quick question then is, if you use those charges up, for example, you've got 8 charges and you use 7, can you refill it back to 8 with the synthesizer?
You can drop it down to 0 and recharge it.
So 0 even. Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice. So you basically only need 1 serum for each. You don't need multiple
Trait.
serums of the same type.
Exactly, yeah. So that's the synthesizer part. However, when you synthesize, it's quite a brutal process that actually dirties the genes a little bit, and the quality of the serum drops down. So the more charges you put in, the worse the quality goes. Step in the next machine, the purifier. Using more DNA, I believe, and more power, we can then purify that back up and get rid of all the dirty genes that are in there that aren't working, that are not good, and put the quality as an excellent quality. If you use a serum that is a poor quality of some kind, then you damage the bee that you inject it into, to the point that it's possible that on the next cycle of running that bee, the bee will just die, which would be bad. So we don't want that. We want always use excellent, the best quality, most pure serums that we inject into our bees to protect the bee itself. Finally, the inoculator. The inoculator is where we inject the bee. So you put the serum in, on this slot of whatever it is that we're doing. So say, for instance, we're taking that resilient species and we're injecting it into a rocky bee or a meadows bee, whatever it is, and we're changing its species. We can inject it here by you place the bee into the top, you place the serum over here, and you inject that into the bee, and eventually you'll get you'll inject that trait into the bee and change the bee's component parts. And at the end of it, you get brand new bee. That's the steps, which require a fuckload of power and a fuckload of DNA. Right. So I'm going to pick up this first machine, which is called the gene pool, and I'm going to place it one difference in between these machines here, and there's the power cable, hence why you didn't need more, and I'm dropping it here. Now, when you are doing a gene pool of bees, and if you put in an unanalyzed bee of any kind, you get a certain amount of DNA. If you analyze the bee first and then drop it in the gene pool, you get twice as much DNA. And princesses give more off, and drones give different values or whatever. And I think, I've watched this in action, but not really seen it. I've not really done it myself, so we'll see. So I've got some export buses here. I'm just going to grab one, or grab two actually. And I'm just going to use the export bus on the analyzer here and switch it for this bus here and drop it on top. There we go. So now I've got an export bus in. And what I want to say is I want any Meadows drones to be analyzed. So I'm going to place it in here, and I'm going to move stacks at a time of these, and it will drop the Meadows bee in here like so. That's fine. I'm just going to move this back in here.
You have a lot of them.
Yeah, but the analyzer needs honey to run. So I need honey in this machine. Now I've got a tank full of honey here, and I need an ender tank will probably help me out here. So I'm going to I know you got auto crafting on the ender tank, but I'm going to actually do it manually. Ender tank like so. Here we go. Oh, I'm missing lots. Blaze rods. Blaze. Oh. Have I not got any blaze powder or anything?
Ooh.
Okay, what's the recipe in UU matter for blazes? Do you know?
Good question. Let me look it up.
Thanks. Okay. In the meantime, I guess I'm going to get some Liquidux and find a way of hooking up.
Yeah, the bad news is I don't have a recipe for blaze rods in this list.
Okay, I can solve that anyway, but it's not the best thing in the world. But I'm just going to drop that here for now. And we need blaze powder and stuff. There's two places we can get it. I'm going to go to the easiest place, and that is up to the second floor. And through the book to our desert age, where we've been using the oil fields to pump oil that powers our base. So now I'm in here. I'm going to go around and look for glowing stuff on the floor. There's some.
I'm actually at the nether and just looting our blaze spawner.
Oh yeah, you can do that too. That works. I'm picking up flowers.
I've got 6 rods so far.
I've got 6 blaze powders, which turns into rods, does it not? Oh no, it's the other way around, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, we need blaze powder anyway, so I noticed we were out of that. Well, you grab the rods then.
Spare the rod.
We need quite a few.
I've got 10 so far.
10.
Do you want to pause the recording while I slaughter a bit?
Oh, well, I'm going to grab some blaze powder around here. And I guess that's entertaining me being chased by creepers, so...
It's not really fair for the creeper seeing what you're wearing.
No, it's not. But... I'll grab one more flowers in here and see if what I find. Oh, look at that. Loads of flowers. Tons of them here. Okay, good. Isn't there a way... I'm sure there's a way of turning blaze powder into rods. Do you grind them or something?
No, yeah, that's how you change rods into powder. Macerator, things like that.
Ah, okay. Okay, I'm done here then. I'm just going...
I'm a bit disappointed by the spawner. It's not really spawning blazes really fast. Oh well. At least the looting sword makes it up for it.
Okay. I'll just double check.
I've got 15
bees.
of them. I'll be back in a second and give those to you.
Okay. Well, apparently bees can make blaze rods. That might be something worth doing.
There are 15 in the system, but I'll go grab a couple more.
Okay, that's cool. Alright, that's enough to be getting on with my ender tank stuff. Ender tanks. I keep doing that. There we go. Right, so I'm going to show you a trick with ender tanks here. So if you change the colour of the wall, it actually changes the ender tank itself. So I think yellow, yellow, yellow we're already using, and orange, orange, orange we're already using. So I'm just probably going to go...
Are you calling me yellow?
Yeah, I'm going to go blue, blue, blue. And I want to make 2 of these ender tanks. And this will cover us for... So normally you can actually just apply a dye directly to the locks, or you can change the colour of the wall, and that works really nicely as well. So I've used the colour of the wall here. And that there should be able to get an auto pump going. I'll actually change it over here first. Is that going to work? I may have to do this a different way. There's another way of... yeah, I might have to liquiduct out of it. The other way might lose...
Out of the gene pool? Yeah, I think you need to liquiduct it the same way like you did for the seed oil and such.
No, not out. It's... Right, I'll explain how these ender tanks work. So they have an auto pump mechanism on them. Right, as in it will auto pump out. So therefore you don't need to... I actually don't need this liquiduct here actually. Because I think I can just place it next to the machine. I'm going to test it out right now. And just to prove that that's possibly the case. Where did my ender tank go? My ender tank just disappeared. Where'd it go?
Still in the system?
No, I broke it and then it just disappeared. It didn't just fly through the wall, did it? It did as well. Son of a bitch. Anyway. So I think it will work from there. So let me just... I can test that. However, because it can't auto-draw, then it doesn't always work. And actually that's not going to work either. This is turning into a more complicated affair than I intended. That's fine though. So I'm breaking this tank to place this differently, and I'm going to place the steel tank valve here because it was interfering with that ender tank, which I didn't want. And now I can just fill up the rest. And luckily, because I didn't break the middle block in the bottom, it still kept the liquid data in there. So that's fine. Next, I need a lever. Lever to trigger the liquiduct. By the way, these tanks have an auto push and pull on them, but you have to place the valves in the right places for the auto pull to work. So the valve has to auto push liquids out of the machine into a tank below. What you need to do is actually put the valve on the bottom so that it seeps out the bottom, if you can imagine it that way. But putting it on the side requires a pumping mechanism. So there we go. So now I've got that pumping into here, and I think what I need to do is hit this button here. Oh no, let me check, maybe it's already pumping over it. I think I know what's wrong, and I can fix it. I need one more liquiduct, that's basically the problem. Let's drop it here with the ender tank next to it. And it looks like it's going to connect by doing that. Wrench that in there. There we go, now it's working. It's because all the stuff wasn't set up properly, but now it is. This is now filled with honey. Great. Then over here, if I switch this button over, it should now pump back out of it again into its inventory next to it without liquiducts, because it has an auto pump out on the ender tanks. But let's say for an auto pump out on Buildcraft tanks, you need to put the valve on the bottom, which I haven't done. But it's working, see?
Oh, cool. There's 50 rods in the system.
Okay, cool. So I'm probably going to need that for DNA stuff in a moment. But now we're analysing all of our bees, and the last step to make sure this works, and there's not enough size on a block unfortunately here, but I need a basic exports.
Question is, do we really wanna
No, basically
examine all these now? We've got 600 mystical drones. I don't think we want to know the genome of all of them, do we?
Yes, you do. Because actually what's very clever about that system is it does it a stack at a time. If you look, it analyses 64 in one go.
Okay.
So it's not as bad as you think. Like it could be rougher, put it that way. So I'm just going to take this basic import bus, and hopefully it works here, that it's going to now import all the bees out of here and put them in to the system. But now the ones that are in the system should be analysed. That's not working.
Yep, they are. Meadows drone, second row in the middle.
But I think what it's doing is it's taking analysed bees and putting them in here, which I don't want. I might need a precision export bus for this. Let me do that. I've got precision export buses around. I think if I shift right click it might get rid of its pre-configured nature, but no, it doesn't matter here. Because I was practicing with stuff, so let's grab that again. I may not be able to do this automated through applied energistics if it's going to misbehave so badly. Let's get rid of those. And let's take...
Stack is nearly done, so give it a second.
I want to take an unanalyzed bee. Yeah, but I want an unanalyzed bee, that's the point. And precisely export that stack at a time. Now let's test... Oh. Yeah, let's test it this way. Let's check. Let's put all the bees back in here and check whether or not...
Yeah, none showed
now
up.
it's
I don't
working.
see any knowns.
Yep, there we go. Now, so precision export bus work there. And I'm only exporting drones. I could do princesses, but I want the princesses. I don't want to destroy those. Okay, so now we've got analyzing going in, and it means that when I do the gene pool, I'm going to need precision again. My precision export in here. And I'm going to precisely export. Have I got one of these analyzed bees, which is one of these. Here we go. And clear out that and put that in there, and I probably, so I want to save those Imperial drones that I'm just turning in to crap for now. I'll have to set up each bee individually, right? But like this will get us started. Now all meadow drones that have been analysed are now being turned into DNA, which is working. We have, and there's nothing to export out of this machine back into the system because it's destroying stuff, right? So the next step is to export again the liquid. Sorry. So now I need more ender tanks. So let's do it this way, yeah. And now I need to choose another color wall, and because it's those, I'm going to choose purple because I think that would be good for DNA, and go 1 and 2, and I've got levers on me, that's good. Alright, let's see whether or not this has an X auto push out of liquid. So let's put that in here and see if will auto pour liquid out. Right, it won't, so now I have to break it again. Oops, give me back my cables. I need to move that machine. It's going to be in the way. There we go, that'll do. And liquid duct here, and finally ender tank here. Okay, and this is something that you have to be careful of. These machines will react to a redstone signal. So if I want to redstone signal adjust anything, I'm going to have to be clever about it so that I don't affect that machine here. So what I've been doing is I've been taking these levers and putting them outside the building. it hides them, and there you go, see, it's done. There's a bunch of levers outside the building working on liquid ducts.
Yep.
And it's, you know, nice.
It's not really hidden, but oh well.
I mean, it's hidden enough. You don't need to notice them from outside. You didn't notice them, did you, when you came up?
That's because I usually jump into the floor. Don't really use the front entrance anymore.
Oh, okay. And I'm going to place this ender tank just here and turn the pump over. And now we have a tank full of DNA. There you go. Cool. I may need more ender tank stuff coming up with this in a minute, but it's working at the moment. Yeah, okay. Right. This is such a heavy setup here. Normally I'd be doing this kind of stuff off of camera, but it's fine. The only thing I really want with these isolators and all of these other machines, to be honest, I don't want to automate it with applied energistics. So I'm actually not going to put import buses or anything on that. It will be manual work for that. The only thing that I want automated is I want DNA to be pumped into these machines. I might have to leave a gap, otherwise I'm going to get weirdness. Yeah. Have I got enough space? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I've got enough space. Good. 2, 3, 4. There are ways of automating it that I may come back to, but for now it's fine. So I think it was the next step was to do that, then you purify it, then you inoculate it. Right, purify, inoculate. There we go. Now we need liquiducts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this doesn't need a DNA in it, this final machine, hence why I didn't connect. And I don't think this one does either. So only 2 of the machines need DNA. Okay, that's actually quite good. If I take... I need another 2 ender tanks, which I'm going to do now. Oh, I'm doing the same thing. Every time I make the same mistake. And now I need to choose the colour wall. So what have we used so far? I'm going to use grey. And I need 2 more ender tanks to do that. Let's do that, and a lever. Okay. Oh, and for tidiness sake, I'm going to grab this and grab that. Oh, it went in the blooming machine. Let me grab it. There we go. Lots of things and stuff. There's my valve. I'm moving over to here and put the gauges back, and then the tank should reform and start working again, like so. Good. As we've just discussed, it won't auto pump out, so I'm just going to do this, and the ender tank there. Apply a redstone signal.
Do you have some ME cables on you?
And a wrench it into place. Yeah. What do you need? Oh, balls.
Simple reason. You've got the liquiducts on the front side of the machines, which will be annoying to getting to the machines. So I was thinking of moving the ME cables 1 level higher, so you can put the...
I've only got 2. That should be enough. 1 to put it up.
That should actually
and
be
then 1
enough.
to drop it down.
3 spaces is what you need.
Yeah, and then break those 3. Like so. I think you've picked them all up. If not, we can craft more.
There you go.
Alright, and then if I grab these liquiducts again, I guess. You know what, I don't... do I need them? If I had another grey ender tank, I don't need it. So I'm just going to grab another one. It's a bit cheeky, but it will work. There's 1 there. 1 there. Turn it into pump mode in the other direction. And it fills up both. Unfortunately, we don't have anywhere near enough DNA to actually do that properly. There we go. That works, right?
They're both actually... Oh no, that one isn't even nearly full.
Okay.
There, that works.
So let's think of a bee that we would want to steal a trait from. And always a good one to steal traits from, as it happens.
Nocturnal.
Are rocky bees, if I've got a bunch of them. I'll just do it by species. I haven't actually probably got that many, because normally we'd have a quarry, right, and have like rocky bees coming everywhere, but I've got 6 rocky drones.
We've got... I think we want to type first, because if you breed rocky bees, they only drop 1 drone. So that's the penalty of them. You need to breed them first to get more rocky bees out of them.
Yeah, it doesn't work either, because as you say, they only do 1 drone, which means you have to change their fertility for it to work, and that's something that we can do using this process here. So I'm going to take this rocky drone and put it into this machine. But it needs serum vials, which I didn't make anywhere near enough of, but I'm going to show the process first, actually, on camera. I said, can you make me some empty serum vials? Is that okay? There's
sure.
All the materials are there.
They're not in the system yet, so I'll have to look them up.
Yeah, it uses some of the royal jelly. Effect cancellation serum I've just picked up, which is good. I'll explain. An effect cancellation serum is, say for instance, AB does something bad on its effect. So say the tropical bees, they have poison, then obviously the poison there is bad. So we can cancel that effect by injecting a bee with effect cancellation serum. Right, so here's something that needs to be dealt with. I've got 2 effect cancellation serums, and I only ever need 1 of any serum. So there's a way of fixing that, and I'm going to go upstairs to do that. And
Okay, I've got some serums for you.
okay, well in a second, there'll be another serum in the ME system in a second that I want to show. In the AE system, sorry. Let's drop this effect cancellation serum into a powered furnace, and I'm going to cook it. And by cooking it, I turn it into an empty vial, which should get pumped out into our AE system, and I can now grab that serum out of our AE system. I'm going to automate that at some point. But for now, that's how, if you get 2 of one, you cook it and you get your serum back. Looks good, right? So can you put those vials into the isolator, where I put mine? Oh, excellent. 32 is good for now. And now, it doesn't always destroy the bee when it isolates, but there's a chance it does. And so I've put 4 of these bees in, and hopefully we'll get some of those traits that we do want. And I'll let that keep running. Next, we've got the synthesizer. It's got some DNA in it now. And I'm going to actually synthesize some of this effect cancellation serum just to show you how it works. So, by putting this in here, it's going to take some of this energy, and there's a bar here. It's really slow, but you can see it filling up just. And what it will do is it will start gaining charges. I'm hoping I'll hang here till we get like 1 charge. You actually need to do this to a bee properly. You need quite a few charges, not just 1 per 1 bee. Sometimes you need several because, I think you need 2. Things have changed, so I don't know how it's changed since I've last used it, but I'll tell you what I was using last time it happened, is that each charge changed 1 trait. Unfortunately, bees have 2 traits per category. You have the dominant trait, and you've got the recessive gene trait. So that's why you see bees with like resilient. One is the first one is the dominant gene, the second one is the recessive gene. So you need 2 charges to run through to change a bee. One that changes the dominant trait, one that changes the recessive trait. So you run it through twice. So every bee needs 2 charges. So now I've got, let's say 3 charges I've got now, that's fine. But you should also see its average quality on the serum, and as we already discussed, if I left it in there it would drop down to poor, but even average quality can damage the bee, so we want to purify it so that we increase the quality. So now we put it in the purifier. Okay. Can you grab me a tropical bee from the indexer? That would probably help.
Sure.
And meanwhile that's going on, let's see what we've got. Oh, we've got humidity tolerance serum now. That's quite nice. A short lifespan serum. That's probably not that great. Cave dwelling serum. That's very nice. And slowest
I grabbed a couple of doubles. I'll go cook them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can go cook those. And we've got default territory serum. That can be good because if it's considered a nether bee that only ever works in the nether or only works in a certain biome, then you've got to, look after that. So that's good. Did you just throw the tropical bee at me? Yeah. Okay, cool. And is this still only good quality at the moment? That's fine. On camera here, I'm going to analyze one of these tropical drones. And if you see here, under its effect, it says poison. And that's a bad thing. as you know, anyone who's worked with tropical bees, if you go nearby, they poison you. So we can actually do something about that, hopefully. Excellent quality. Here we go. So now I've got an effect cancellation serum with excellent quality and 3 charges on it, and I can place it in here. Now I can take this tropical drone with poison on it and drop it into this slot here. And what it will do is it will very slowly inject this bee with effect cancellation serum. It's really slow, but you can see it's happening. The bar's dropping down. I'm going to leave that going while we check on this. All my... Oh, that's really annoying. My rocky bees have all basically dead, but I never actually got the rocky species serum.
Oh, that's annoying.
I got another effect cancellation. I got rocks pollination serum, which means like a bee can be pollinated by rocks as opposed to a flower nearby. How many spare rocky bees do I have?
6 princesses. I'm grabbing 2 of them. We'll try with 2.
Okay. I don't want to use them all up because obviously I need them for actual working with. Princess are 10
Wait,
knots.
there's a furnace here now.
Oh, okay. Oh, good. So I can grab some of these doubles that I've got, which is an extra cancellation serum. I've got 2 of these humidity tolerance serums, and the rest is good. This rainfall serum means that a bee will work in the rain. And like I'm going to store these serums in the AE network. So now I can just look through the AE network, and even I should be able to search for cave dwelling serum. Cool. Nocturnal serum, short lifespan. Okay. Anyway, let's have a look. How's this going? Alright, it's having to inject a few more times. So it's already injected 1 charge out of it. But as I said, it needs to inject again because it needs to get rid of the recessive trait. So first of all, it got rid of the dominant trait of poison. Now it's using a second charge on its own. I'm not having to tell it. On its own, it now uses another charge to get rid of the recessive trait of poison. So that's happening now.
Coffee. You've got it.
Oh, cool. Let's go in here. Yeah, so now, Rocky Species Serum. That means I don't actually... I'm going to save that princess from death. So now with the Rocky Species Serum, anytime I need to turn any bee into a Rocky bee, I can just use the serum here. Nocturnal I didn't have. Short lifespan I did.
Here, you've got here's a Meadows princess. Have fun.
And I'm not sure about that one. Okay. No, I don't really want to do princesses. Princesses are valuable. So, you really should do them with drones.
It's a Meadows princess.
Yeah, but no, they're valuable because now I can turn any princess into any species. Do you understand? So now, those
yes.
are now reflecting, you know, they represent a whole bee house worth of bees I could use. So yeah, now every princess is valuable. I can drop that Meadows drone in there. This tropical drone can go back in, I guess. The Rocky Princess I'll put back in the indexer. And Nocturnal Serum I don't think we had. Rocky. I think if I actually had a double, will it show up as 2 in here? Yeah, so if I just dump everything, it will say item store 2 on the short lifespan, and I'm like, oh, I'll take one of those out then, I've got a double. There we go. That's an easy way of solving that. I'll just drop them in the AE system and let it tell me if I've got 2. Instead of having to work it out manually. Cool. And finally, our tropical drone is now finished. It used up 2 charges like I said it would. And in the Bealyzer, I can take my tropical drone and its effect says none. No more poisoning from this drone. Now, to be able to use this properly, I have to take another 2 charges and do the same thing to a tropical princess. That way, when I combine the princess and the drone to make a queen, I able to get rid of poison completely, and then it would mean that it would never poison a player ever. And I'll put that
And
there,
if you
fine.
give me a few more seconds, I'll actually have a princess for you.
I don't need the princess, it's fine for it. I think I've shown everything I need to show on how this works, actually. So I'm quite happy.
Okay.
So, as I said, we've now got... oops, didn't mean to do that. So, up here we've got the DNA production through here and the automated analyzing that we've set up. Right now we're only doing Meadows drones, but I can add other drones into this to start crunching up other types of drones into DNA, which I'll do in a minute. It exports the drones back out here into the system, which then gets immediately sucked back into the gene pool, which is now grinding up bees into DNA, which is happening over here. The DNA goes into the tanks being stored at the back, and then immediately into these ender tanks. Those ender tanks are attached to 2 machines, synthesizer and purifier, to be used for processing bees, and using this setup, which I've just shown you all the steps for, we've got all that done. So that's what we've done this episode, like totally set up the automation, well, not automation exactly, but the setup of how to manipulate bees to a better extent than just dumping them into a bee house and hoping for the best. Now we have way more control. So yeah, if you're working with bees, the quicker you can get this set up, the better. The only reason I delayed it for so long is I wanted to show on camera, and I never really had a good time to do it. So I've been fumbling around the hard way. This is the easy way of dealing with bees. So if you're doing bees, you need these machines. Otherwise, you're going to be tearing your face off.
And just to make it even easier, I've added serum and glass panes to our automated system, so you can always make more serums now.
Cool. Well, the idea being is that it comes to a point that you just cook them back up anyway, and you just cycle the same serums round and round. So you don't tend to need that many serums overall, because you get them back.
True. You need about, well, if you look up in NEI, there are a lot of different
Yeah.
different serums.
Exactly. I'll do that quick. I think I showed it earlier on. If I can type serum. Yeah, there's about 4 pages of serums. Mostly to do with the souls. The species. Yay! Cool. So as a reminder, we have got a new series coming up with this. We'll continue working on this server till that is released, because we're still waiting for the release of the 1.6 server, but when it is released, we'll be switching. But until then, we'll be making work and showing cool automation, so stick around. And yeah, the next season when we start it, we mentioned about 3 episodes ago about a theme that potentially could be a Persian theme. Someone mentioned about doing an elven theme and taking the blueprint of Elfie's base. Well, I'm going to reply to that in comments later today as well, but I think it was Raphael suggested it, if I remember correctly. If I'm wrong, I apologise. But there's a reason why I don't want to do that, and I'm going to show you the reason why right now. So, this place is made of logs, the entire thing, to get it to look the way we want it to look, and it's fantastic. It works really well in that. However, we found a problem that was an absolute nightmare to solve, that we never did solve, and that is if you want to automate any tree breeding, any tree cutting down. What it does is it cuts down
Actually, any forestry.
Yeah. Indeed. Yeah, and we've tried all sorts of trees, we've tried all sorts of different things, and the effect was the same, is that when we tried to cut down a tree on this base, it would cut down the actual tree itself that the base is made out of. So, because of that restriction, I'm actually going to avoid building a giant tree house and doing an elven theme of that kind. So yeah, sorry, it's a great idea, and obviously we've shown an elven theme here anyway, so it's a little bit of repetition, but it's more to do with the technical issues. Is that when I want to do tree breeding, and trust me we will, and tree farming, I don't want to be dealing with cutting down the actual base by mistake, because that has been a nightmare. I don't know, I'm still open for ideas, just but yeah, as long as they're viable for working with, then we'll probably take them. Right now, as I said before, the Persian theme is still #1 choice, but if I get a good enough suggestion from someone that doesn't have some weirdness with it, then yeah, I'll do that instead. So let us know. Okay.
The one playing with Thaumcraft then, is he the Grand Vizier?
Can't play with Formcraft.
The one who will be playing on the Persian build with magic.
Oh,
That will be
I
the Grand
see.
Vizier, I take it.
Yeah. Oh, Formcraft on this server. The reason I've decided not to do it is because, one, we're wrapping up soon, and two, is Formcraft is so much cooler in the new version, and it was just like, oh, I don't really want to go through all the effort now, when actually next season, one of the things that we're starting off early with is Formcraft. So instead of waiting and not seeing it at all, actually next season Formcraft will be one of the earliest mods that we play around with. So yeah, that's something to look forward to.
Mobs as well, we call them wisps.
Actually, there's other mobs as well. There's these goblins that are now being added that run around, and they're neutral mobs like sheep and cows, but you can turn them to be a bit more friendly by trading with them, like villagers, but different. You trade them originally by throwing stuff on the floor, and they'll run around and say, mine, 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 mine. And then after they've grabbed all the stuff on the floor, and they're happy enough that, alright, you know what, I can be friends with you now, then you can trade with them. And what they do is you trade them an item. It's a bit like equivalent exchange. You give them an item, and it gives you something of kind of equivalently valuable back. Or, if he's feeling mean, he can give you something crap back, because it's a person, yeah, it's a trader. So, for instance, you could give him, everything works in essences, right? So, stuff like diamonds will have this essence to do with, is it lucrum, I think it's all based on, or... Yeah, I think it's lucrum
Not
essence,
sure yet.
basically. So all this stuff has this lucrum essence, and that's basically what you're trading with as your value. And the higher the lucrum, the better the chance that you get something good back. And yeah, you might give him a diamond block, and he might give you cobble back if he's feeling particularly mean, or he can give you something valuable like a mana bean back, and these mana beans can be grown to do special magic stuff. Thanks, Mallinka. So, oh god, I can't wait to show it. I know I'm ranting here, and like the episode really should have ended because we've done the bee stuff. But yeah, there's so much cool stuff coming, and I want people to like join the new server with us. And there is one thing I'm going to explain, right? And like, we had lots of people on this server, right, at one point, and like, I don't normally like to talk about negative stuff on video, but here's something that negatively happened, is that people didn't want to do it anymore. To be honest, they couldn't be bothered to put the work in, and to be honest, when I'm running things, I'm fairly strict, as Mallinka knows, and some people came in here to play for fun, which I understand, but unfortunately this server isn't really about that much kind of just play for fun. Is that we've also got a job to do, and it's like put stuff together and entertain you guys. So a lot of people, they were like, well, I want to build all this stuff, and I want to do all this, and they'd do it all in like one day, and I had to keep stopping them. And then, to be honest, they were getting fed up with me telling them off all the time, and yeah, and they found it not fun anymore. So that's why most have disappeared. Some just don't have time anymore, as it happens, but some, like, they just don't find it fun. So instead, this whole separate base thing was an interesting experiment that didn't work, to be honest. So next time, it's just one base. At least to begin with, it will be me and
Well, one
Malink.
city, if we start building like crazy.
Yeah, one city as such, but it'll be built by together. You know, anyone who joins the server will be working together as one team, as opposed to all separate units that we had this time. So yeah, a bit like our first season when it was all, you know, me, Elfie, Malinka, and a few guests came in, but we all worked on the one system. So that's what will happen next time. I think it works better. It's easily controlled, and it will start off with just me and Malinka in the season, and I will probably be finding someone else to join us, and I'll probably be doing that on the FTB forums. So if you're interested in joining the server as working as a builder and anything like that, then in about 3 weeks time or so, maybe even a month's time, I'll remind it again when we're doing it. I'm going to be posting on the forums, and I'll be looking for applications. And applications will be, I want to see some builds that you've done in Feed the Beast, like screenshots, so I know that you're capable of the technical side. And you'll post those in the forums to show that you're capable. And then finally, there'll be an interview in Vent to make sure you have a good enough, like, a good personality that fits in with the team, because obviously we've got to talk a lot, so you need to be confident in able to talk.
Insanity is not overrated for this.
Yeah, you also need good microphone equipment to talk with us, so, you know, not something that's totally rubbish, and the rest of it. So yeah, there will be an opportunity to join the server coming up next season when we start, but there will be an interview process basically in 2 steps. One is you have to prove that you're capable of building, and that will be done through screenshots on the forums, on the FTB forums. And the second step is an interview with us, just to make sure that, you know, you can talk confidently and do the recording side. So if you find that exciting, hopefully you do, then that's coming up too. Anything else you want to say, Malinka? Because I'm definitely wrapping up now.
Goodbye?
Goodbye. Goodbye's a good one. See you next time.
Yep.
Bye.
Goodbye.